stillness and blessings, love and light, wholeness and health to one and all, family. I ask y'all to join me in this brief meditation for happiness and healing and well-being. Thank you. Stillness and blessings, love and light, health and wholeness. Stillness and blessings, love and light, health and wholeness. Stillness and blessings, love and light, health and wholeness to one and to all. I hope this message find everybody in the best of health and well-being, and find everyone in the highest vibration possible. As always, I try to start with a few forewords. I want to shout out to my new subscribers, Connie and Light the Dark, as well as anybody else who have recently subscribed to my channel. My first message for today is you can't read a book and shoot a jump shot. And I got that from a commentator. I was watching a game and I heard a commentator say you can't read a book and shoot a jump shot. And then he went on to say you have to get on the court, you know. And it's the same thing. My reason, I guess, at the time I didn't know why that stuck with me, but by the time I got ready to start preparing for this video tonight, it was clear. And it's the same thing with spirituality. For those of you who are on this spiritual journey with me, on walking this spiritual path, you can't read a book and be able to demonstrate a spiritual life, you have to start living the spiritual life to be able to demonstrate it. Be mindful of your output. Don't overdraft your energy. Don't expect everyone to see things the same way as you. You'll be disappointed. However, your perception will connect you to the people that do. Speak your truth to keep the dark lit. Be a lighthouse, because you never know who's watching. We are the ancient people of the future. We will be the ancient people of the future. How many of us think about that? But that hit me hard, probably like 30 minutes ago. After I took my spiritual bath and did a brief meditation. We will be the ancient people of the future. That's deep. With that, inspire, compliment, and encourage. And we're going to go off into the 80K Luke, Law of Life. We're on page 151, and the topic is scientific miscellany. I gotta look that word up. Scientific miscellany. The central sun is a central focus of the Godhead. And before I begin, I appreciate the comments, and I enjoy hearing that the meditations are helpful and the messages are helpful. I appreciate that. Scientific miscellany. The central sun is a central focus of the Godhead. The heart center of the electron is a sapphire blue, almost where blue and violet meet. That is why the sky is blue. In reality, night is not black, but dark blue. The vibration of your life stream has a specific pattern, also a certain tone or music theme. By a ray of light is meant that electronic, let me back up. By a ray of light is meant the electronic force or energy from the sun projected forth. By a ray of light is meant the electronic force or energy from the sun projected forth. Who can take the sun out of existence? A ray of light the size of the little finger would cut off a wire or gas connection. When watching huge searchlights moving through the atmosphere, one realizes that a ray is actual light substance. We should become conductors and conduits by our own free will, being willing to do God's will instead of our own human or personal will. We can be like the key that opens a vault, or like a switch that makes a connection at a boulder dam and gives light to a whole city or a great area. Become impersonal. This is not personal. This work is not personal. Become impersonal, like an orchestra where each member plays their bit and all together make one whole performance. We all have a part to play in this mess that we have created. That is impersonal service. In the 1930s, it was reported in a magazine that during the eclipse, the prominences, the radiation was leaving the sun in the form of plumes as of the threefold flame. What caused the Liberty Bell to crack? The same force that tried to destroy America, that of a black magician. He was removed from Earth in November 1938. The figure 8 is the balance of the human and the divine. As I said before, I'm a 26-8 life path. 8 life paths came here to master spirituality in their physical existence. So that's probably why I ended up doing these type of videos. The figure 8 is the balance of the human and the divine. That is the only figure that brings the current down and returns it. The human brings currents down and sends it back. There is this balance used in the outer world. 8 hours of service, 8 hours recreation, 8 hours of rest. The vibratory action of Earth is wholly different from what it used to be. The currents of the ocean will change and the atmosphere throughout the United States will become semi-tropical. Pay attention to what's going on. It's late September and It's 70 degrees still, 80 degrees. Air currents. There are natural currents around the earth, which when airplanes enter them, then triple the plane's speed. In India, people communicate through air currents. In the Gobi Desert are natural air currents where people, regardless of their light, can speak and hear each other. During a class one evening in Detroit, Michigan, a group of people heard the sound from the Cave of Light in the retreat in India. Everyone there heard it. That was a current of energy consciously projected from the Cave of Light. May 8th, 1938. 3 airplanes which had been stolen by enemies were dissolved by the masters through the use of light rays. In September 1937, 2 or 3 ascended masters annihilated the insects which an airplane was carrying to America for destructive purposes. Then they appeared to the pilots. In one instant, 2 or 3 ascended masters appeared to the crew of an airplane just before it was scheduled to take off on a nefarious mission. They were as tangible to men as any human being, and when the men of the Air Force attempted to grab them, they dissolved or evaporated in their grasp. The ascended masters told us in 1939 that they had secret airplanes without wings that could anchor in mid-air in action. Then, it sounds like spaceships. September 26, 1939. 3 secret submarines en route to destroy the Panama Canal were dissolved by the ascended masters. However, they did preserve the records and plans contained in one submarine by hermetically sealing them. That's the word to write down, hermetically. They were left on the ocean's bottom to be brought forth at a later date as proof to mankind. In 1933, when the World's Fair at Chicago was lit by a ray from the star Arcturus, what was the action? That was a light ray directed consciously by a great being, who is an authority for the action of the 7th ray to the earth. He started the expansion of his flame over the earth at that time. Power boxes were used in former ages for heating, lighting, and propelling purposes. The power was drawn from the atmosphere and generated in these boxes, which were 2 or 3 feet long and about 2 feet square. Similar instruments are to come forth in the new age. They're already here. One wave of cosmic light which was released was so powerful that it interfered with radios and telephone services. Some of them were out of commission for 8 hours. In one of the eastern cities during one class meeting, there appeared on the platform a ray of light like a pillar. It was visible to the physical sight and seen by the audience. In the Black Forest, blue lightning suddenly struck and put to an end the nefarious activities there. Imprints of figures will exist on the cliff walls. Hieroglyphics. The sudden freezing of a vast area in Siberia, which is evident that it occurred at once and which the scientific world cannot explain, also was an action of cosmic law silencing the dark forces there. One in a completely pure body had the experience in which the threefold flame, about 3 inches in height, stood on his hand, and over it was held a steel rod as large as a man's thumb. The steel rod was instantly cut in 2, yet the flame, stood on his hand. That could only be done in the absence of all discord, the absence of all chaos, the absence of all confusion, the absence of all disharmony. Another experience, a test as to his strength, was when a snake suddenly stood up in front of him to his own height. He commanded it to be consumed, and so it was. The appearance of spaceships, saucers, or scouts are becoming widely known and are being more and more accepted, as are contacts with people of other planets, which has been done throughout the ages to some degree, as well as the assistance of the ascended masters. These are the teachers of mankind. They have always given protection and assistance. For every counterfeit, pseudo or imperfect thing, there is a perfect thing. For every counterfeit, pseudo or imperfect thing, there is a perfect thing. In other words, for every yin, there is a yang. For every yang, there is a yin. There's a balancing opposite. The word individualize comes from the root word indivisible, not separate from source. Personality comes from the word persona, which means mass. Certain low vibratory actions of your voice will bring tremendous results. Certain low vibratory action of your voice will bring tremendous results. The word individualize comes from the root word indivisible, which means not separate from source. Personality comes from the word persona, which means mask. There are 200 pounds of energy to every square inch of the mouth. So we use about 800 pounds of energy to chew our food. That's deep. Gold is a condensed sun ray from the central sun. The natural tone of the earth is F, below middle C. The color tone of the earth is gold. The greatest is as easy to bring forth as the smallest. The greatest is as easy to manifest as the smallest. The presence, the source, just simply answers your call. Not so many ages ago, men lived hundreds of years, 900 to 1500 years. They maintained life not from knowledge of the source, but by elixirs which they prepared. Yahshua multiplied fishes, but there was no fish quality in the precipitated food. He replenished the wine, but there was no intoxicating element in it. Your source of supplies is the I Am presence. It is the power that manipulates conditions, circumstances, and substance which produces your supply. It is the magic I Am presence called into action. Everything comes through rays of light. A flower, a tree, a table. Any physical thing is created and perfected on the inner through thought and feeling by beings in inner realms. Then the ideas are given to human beings. They come through that ray of light from the source. Precipitation is first vapor, then liquid, then solid. The precipitation ray is gold without a band or radiance of green. Gold and green are of that rate of vibration which becomes the condensation of that which is required. Snowflakes are thought forms of some intelligent beings, condensed to a point making them tangible to our physical senses. The patterns are beautiful and of great variety. Snowstorms purify the atmosphere as does rain. Both are an action of precipitation. Try to grasp the idea and hold in the feelings that to manifest an idea, there must be a light pattern of it. This is a powerful fundamental. An etheric record can be revivified. An etheric record can be revivified because the light pattern exists. Any ascended master can revivify buildings and so forth that can even be photographed. When you stop to think for a moment, you can realize that all outer manifestation has an unseen power behind it. When you stop to think for a moment, you can feel that all outer manifestation has an unseen power behind it. For instance, the electricity, the radio, and now you have the television, which only a few years ago could not be comprehended and accepted by the average person. You realize that all comes from the invisible into the physical appearance world. Behind all outer manifestations is an invisible power. People think lightly on that, which they cannot see. People think lightly on that which they cannot see. And yet, that which they cannot see in the physical forms over 94% of the pressures of both good and evil. Take the radio. You do not see the power that produces the sound or sifts it out from many other sounds in the atmosphere, and you hear some beautiful music or some inspiring talk. The same with electricity. Even though all wires and connections are in order, if there is not juice from the powerhouse, from the lighthouse, flowing through, there is no current which produces manifestation. If there is no juice from the powerhouse flowing through, there is no current which produces manifestation. Even your physical body was produced from the invisible into outer form. An oak tree comes out of a small seed. That is, the powers that produce it are latent in the seed. May the energy that produced these words, that's latent or hidden in the seed of thought that's bringing them forth, bring value, happiness, increase, and well-being into those who hear these words. With that, like, share, subscribe, comment. If you want to sow a physical seed, it's $SAIWOODAGOD. That's $Sawu the God. Stillness and blessings, love and light, health and wholeness. We'll finish the rest of this tomorrow on part 2, scientific miscellany. Peace.